Good afternoon. I see that our guest is connecting with audio. Mr. Burden, how are you this afternoon? If you can hear me, if you would, please unmute. Okay. Can you unmute, Mr. Burden?
I can only ask him to unmute. I can't
He said
actually.
he has no microphone.
No microphone. Okay. Well, Mr. Burden, I was actually going to have you unmute. You are the only one that has shown up for this virtual table talk this evening. And so I know that you were in the session last week with the Area 7 group, and pretty much the updates are the same. We have not had any new changes since that particular time in regards to the legislative updates or the virtual program updates or communication. But last week I asked for references for a recommendation for mass mandates. I received the science. Has anyone here read the ABC Science Collaboration File Report on the school level COVID results in North Carolina science support? Okay. We will make sure that we review. I know that you sent some information last week. I'm not sure if that was in that particular information that you sent. Mr. Vernon, I wish you had a microphone. The science level report had school. Exactly, there was no control group to compare the results with. Okay. Okay. And Ms. Wimberly, if you can copy and paste this article that he had, Mr. Burden has recommended so that we can read that as part of our pandemic team review.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Right now, I will say that there was one update and it related to health and safety in regards to quarantines. And I don't know if Mr. Sturkey or if Dr. Bunch can just speak to that briefly.
Say that again, Dr. Bethea, you broke up on that on my end.
Yes, regarding the new quarantine guidelines, the new information that was released last week, can you or Mr. Sturkey update Mr. Burden on that?
Sure. Mr. Strick, you want to go first?
You go first, and I'm gonna
Okay.
be pulling that up while you're talking.
So thank you. So the latest guidelines that we have, Mr. Burden, are if you are wearing a mask, even if someone tests positive, you no longer have to go into quarantine. So we're going to be meeting as a team in our district very, very soon. Mr. Sturkey will have that date for us, and he can give that to you, but we're going to be discussing that. And that's the latest DHEC guidelines. Before, there were guidelines from 3 feet to 6 feet and beyond. So the latest guidelines state, again, if you are masked up in the room, and if someone around you has tested positive for COVID, you no longer have to go into quarantine, and that's for adults and for student.
And our meeting, Mr. Burden, will be on Wednesday morning at 10, where our pandemic team will discuss that anything that has changed as far as quarantine or things like that.
And so as DHEC makes adjustments, we make adjustments. And so we take our time in looking at those. We also talk with other districts, other nursing, our head nurse for the district talks to other nurses as well and works with DHEC. And so we make those adjustments as quickly as possible. And probably when we meet on Wednesday, by the following Monday, we can have those communicated to our principals, to our nurses, get the information out to our parents through our phone calls and our websites and those kinds of things to help them understand that we'll be under those new DHEC guidelines.
So, Mr. Vernon, I have pulled up what you referenced, and we will make sure that we do, when we go to the table, we try to have all information in regards to support or not support of various initiatives. We want to make sure that we, give balance when we come to the table. So we will take that information. If there's anything else that you have that you wish to share, do not hesitate to email us information as well, and we will take all of that into consideration. Trying to think, are there any other mitigation factors? Was there anything else in particular that you wanted us to cover? I just didn't want to go back over the same spiel since there were no new updates or any changes. Gotta give them just a few more minutes. But I will say, while we're waiting to see if you have anything else that you wish to type, Mr. Vernon, that things are constantly evolving, and our commitment is that we're trying to keep up with the latest information that is provided from our State Department and from DHEC and the other authorities. And do know, I think that we stated it in our last session, is our goal is to keep children safe. What that looks like may change from day to day as new information is shared, but that is our commitment. Your children, all of the children in our care, we need our children in school. We need them face to face. Our data shows that we need our schools in school and in school face to face. Virtual is wonderful if needed, if that is the only option, but that is not our first choice. And so again, we're just trying to use any mitigation factor that we have. It recommends suicide, not attend school, this guidance as well. Any information that comes from DHEC that is recommended, we try not to pick and choose. That has been our commitment, and so whatever guidance that is coming out of our state's health official department, we will follow that recommendation. I would not think that that kind of recommendation will come out of DHEC, but the way things evolve, I don't know. But right now, our commit is trying to follow the guidance from DHEC.
And Dr. Bethea, you have had a new guest enter the room, Ms. Crawford.
Hi, Ms. Crawford, how are you? Ms. Crawford?
I'm well, and you?
Good. Ms. Crawford, you and our other guests were both on the session last week, and so we were trying not to be redundant and cover the same exact thing. We just gave an update on some guidance, new guidance in terms of quarantine that came out last week after our virtual session. And pretty much at this point, what we were doing, we're taking any questions that you may have. There are no new legislative or legal updates. Nothing has changed with the virtual program or with our mitigation factors that the district is using. So if you have any particular questions, we can try to cover that for you.
Okay, I'm fine.
Okay. All right. Well, Ms. Crawford and Mr. Burden, do know that this town hall is not the only way that you can communicate. If you have questions, do not hesitate to contact me at the district office. Our number is 843-423-1811, or by email, kbethea@marion.k12.sc.us. If you have questions outside of this platform, do know that we do somewhat have an open door policy within our, health and safety guidelines in terms of, with visitors. We do have visitors at our central office. And so if there's ever a need, do not hesitate to let us know, or if we need to engage even in more detail, or if you want to come in and conference, we are available just for that as well. So with that being stated, I do want to thank our team and just make sure there's nothing else I could think of other than the quarantines that have changed. Okay.
That's it, Dr.
That's
Bethea.
it. Okay. Well, team, Ms. Crawford, thank you. Mr. Burden, thank you so much, too. And I just want to thank both of you for giving of your time by being present and being, advocates for your children and for our families here. And we do truly appreciate you just taking time and showing an interest. I really, truly, sincerely mean that. We want our families engaged. We want our students to know that homes and schools that we work together. So I appreciate all that you two are doing as well. Even when we, have differences of opinions or views, it is so important that we're able to come to the table and talk. And I thank you both for that. Team, I thank you all as well. Thank you so much. It's a hard job, but it's for a good cause. It is for a
Thank you.
good cause. It is. Thank you all. Have a good evening. And I will be doing another segment of these. They will not be until after the holidays. The holiday season, when you get to October, you start getting in the holiday season, and it's just extremely busy. But we will be doing another segment of these when we come back off of the Christmas holidays in the same type format. But again, if you need me before then, please let me know. Thank you all. Bye-bye. Have a good evening. Thank you.